baru keluar satu anak, kapan punya anak lagi?
Maybe
And it's like,
that's because-
oh my god,
Kapan
shut
mau
the
bayarin tante?
like, oh my god, shut
Kapan
the fuck
ini
up.
akun saya ya tante? I was like, you want kids?
It was
Yes.
This is the
Just-
sex education that
no,
people
it's
don't
just like
get.
kids remember.
I'm sorry if I seem like I'm asking really stupid questions, but obviously it's like
you're not.
I've never gone through any of this
No,
stuff.
honestly,
Yeah.
it's
People have to
everyone's
know.
question.
Okay, but it's like, when you go to a fertility doctor and it's like, oh, like you're infertile, do they tell you like, is there like a cause that they can pin down, or is it just like, no, we
Never
don't
put
know.
on
Never,
one,
right? Okay.
one thing. Never put.
They
on
never
one
put it on one thing.
Ah, okay,
Too many elements.
okay. And then Gita, in your case, like you had a miscarriage.
Yeah. They have no idea until today.
No idea. So
Why? Yeah.
So I got like, my first question is, when it comes to miscarriages, how do they happen?
Yeah, I can explain how it happened to me.
Uh-huh.
Only to me. I don't know how it happens to
Yep,
other
yep,
people.
Because are there like, of course, there's different reasons why a miscarriage can
Yeah.
happen.
There's like 1,000 reasons.
What happened with you?
I just bled.
Out of nowhere?
Yes. It's really creepy, by the way.
I'm sure.
No. It's, you'll panic like nobody's business.
Okay.
I started panicking like,
Okay.
I almost passed out. The panic is on a scale
Yeah.
where
Uh-huh.
the last thing I was thinking about was myself.
Okay.
And it's gonna feel very biological, by the way. Like, as
Okay.
in, I did not believe any of this stuff about like, oh, when you're pregnant, you're really gonna think about your kid. Oh my God, it takes over your brain. I'm not joking. Like, I knew something was up even before I did the pregnancy
see.
test. I felt something was up.
What do you mean? So before you took the pregnancy
Before I even
test?
took the pregnancy test, I had a feeling maybe I'm pregnant because suddenly I stopped giving a shit about anything at all.
Oh, you find the
I-
changes in your
No, like
self,
my brain, it's as if someone flicked it and then I went, Gita bisa nggak meeting yang ini? Nggak bisa, aku capek.
Damn,
Straight
that's
face.
real. That's real. I hear that a lot from women. It's like you get pregnant and then like you just have a change in personality.
Yeah.
Oh, tell me about it.
Wait,
Yeah,
does that
yeah, I experienced it from
Really?
another point of view, like besides my wife. And
Oh, really?
My husband was like, what? Like, and I was like,
Well,
hey.
funny thing, I became smarter though than her.
Oh yeah, that's true. I
During
was
that
not
moment.
there. I was not.
I think because if all the nutrition get into the baby.
Get into
side.
the baby.
Yeah.
Like it was biological that I put myself like last. Like it was wild. Like
Oh.
nggak last maksudnya everything was on the survival of this thing, right?
Right,
Jadi
right.
everything kayak mau nggak ini? Nggak. Even if you give me something that's slightly riskier, kayak kita ada ini loh long bus ride di nggak bisa.
Yeah,
And
okay.
I don't know where it came from. Jadi I'm like, sorry, I think I need to do a pregnancy test now. This is crazy.
Okay.
Like, what is going on?
And then you
Like,
found out you were pregnant.
yeah, and that was when I went, woo! And but here's the crazy part. I said, woo, I actually didn't want kids.
At that time, you still didn't want kids.
Gita, how long ago was this? Like when you
Like 2021, 2022 maybe?
Not that long ago from
2021?
Two,
I have
3
no
years
idea.
ago.
2022?
got... Sorry, how old are you now?
I'm 43.
43, so that means in 2020...
Makanya! So you know it was not like something I've always wanted. I was 41 or something, I think. I think I was 41.
Well, but actually, I hear stories of like, I mean, there are people in their 40s, even like
Iya,
late
tapi
40s.
kan kayak, bro, I lived my whole life like going like, I think I know what I want. And
Okay.
then what's crazy was when it's at like positive, and then I went, woo! And then my husband's like, huh? And then like all of us are like, my brother's like, huh? And then my mom's like, maksudnya gimana? Because they're all so confused that they're
Okay.
like,
Oh, this is very interesting.
yeah, they're like, you want it? And I'm like, I now do. And then they're like, why? And I went, shut up. And yeah, and it's wild. I became like hoarding resources. I'm like, I want to eat that thing. I want to make that money. And I had like, no, like I was the most, I'm already so little BS. I was at like negative.
All right, it's slightly concerning that you went your whole life being like, I don't want
Don't want
kids, and then
kids.
suddenly you got pregnant, and then you were like,
Woo!
Can
woo.
you explain why?
Yeah,
though?
why?
No.
Because, let me tell you
Until
why I'm
now.
freaked out. Let me tell you why I'm freaked out, because that's me.
No, I don't know. Until now, I don't know.
That's you, as in like
As
you
in,
don't
like,
want kids now.
I want kids, but I want to adopt. I want to raise kids, but I don't want to get pregnant.
I see.
I am not willing to give up my body like that, right?
I have no idea.
So I'm like, I don't want to get pregnant, but
Yeah. I lived my entire life until the age of 41 being super sure I will not have kids.
Well, maybe it's because, but like just your brain, like you were on
it switched
pregnancy.
my brain.
Yeah,
I suddenly.
It's hormones, right? Is it?
Yeah, the hormones were super real.
wow.
And we can talk about the hormones that are also super real if you miscarriage.
Yeah, because
Okay, what happened
you
then?
got pregnant, and then how long after?
Like 8 weeks.
8 weeks.
Because my body just basically had a drop in like hormones, and then suddenly everything was sad. Like it was just sadness and depression.
As in after you miscarried.
Yeah, but like not like just then. It's like months after gitu loh. Okay, so I miscarried in the US actually, and the doctor was hilarious because he's been an OBGYN for 35 years.
Okay.
So he actually saw every miscarriage as a positive.
Okay, explain.
Literally. I'm not kidding. And I was like, what? And I was like,
Cause
basically he's like, well, according to the laws of nature, this person is not supposed to be here.
Yeah, because what people doesn't know is that being pregnant is actually a risk to your body,
super
to the
risk.
carrier.
Yep.
And then when you get older at 40s and above,
Yeah.
then the risk is more.
yeah.
So for the doctor, it's I can see why.
Well, no, he was like, the baby is probably not meant to be here.
Okay.
And so what's awesome, afterward he said,
Right.
so actually every baby that gets born, including babies with disabilities, babies with this, they're literally meant to be here. That's not a mistake.
Okay.
Like, so he always said, it's like, a disability is not a mistake. It was made that way.
All right.
Like,
Okay.
the fact that you were even born means like, yeah, evolutionarily speaking, you're meant to be here. Every child that is born, including one with Down syndrome or any disability, is meant to be here. That is not a mistake. Like, he's like, it's evolution. It's just we as a society, he said this in like his office, we as a society decided to put labels of superiority.
Yep.
And I went, why am I having a psychological, like,
Philosophical
talk after you tell me what just happened? What the fuck? Gitu.
Maybe he was trying to console
was
you after the
hilarious.
fact that you
Maybe.
miscarried.
Maybe, I don't know.
miscarried.
Trying to make you feel better in a very odd way.
Very odd way. And I was like, what the fuck? And he's so old. He's like,
I
keriput
see.
banget kayak.
I
Like,
see. Maybe that's
he's so old, dude. And I'm like, okay, bro. Okay, I'm ready.
Did you? I'm wondering because and this is public information. I have PCOS. So for people that don't know, PCOS is polycystic
Yeah,
ovarian
yeah.
syndrome.
I don't have that.
You have that too.
No.
Oh, you don't have that.
I never
What
had
about
it.
like in endometriosis? That's also
Nope.
super
my
common.
wife had that.
Huh?
My wife had that.
Okay.
Oh.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
So we're gonna talk about that.
I see because if you have
Okay.
PCOS, endometriosis, like that
Yeah,
affects your
done the
fertility.
surgery
Now I have
and
to pee
stuff.
again.
Go pee. We'll take a break here.
A few minutes later.
I'm ready now.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
And so after your miscarriage, this is what I wanted to ask because you never wanted kids.
Yeah, there's that.
Yeah, you never wanted kids, but then you had a miscarriage, and then you mentioned that you went through like months of depression following the miscarriage because obviously hormones, right? So was that a confusing feeling because it's like I never wanted kids, but then I found out that I'm pregnant, and then I wanted it, and then I lost it, and now I'm like sad.
Okay. The one benefit I'll say of getting older is I simply stop believing that I have all the answers.
Okay.
No, this is very freeing actually.
Okay.
Because absolutely it weirded out so many people because they're like, but you never talk about kids, you never talk about having kids, and then suddenly now you want to do IVF, you're doing IUI, you're doing these things to have kids. Do you want kids or not kids? And then I'm like, what if I'm just in this moment?
Yeah.
Gak usah nanya-nanya mulu ya.
Nggak,
Just
like, what if I'm just in this moment? Because here's the thing, ada sih yang bilang, bukannya kamu harusnya tahu persis karena nanti kalau misalnya anaknya lahir, kan mereka harus mendapatkan masa depan yang baik, blah blah blah, which you will give, of course. And I have the capacity and the ability, and like more than 10 years of therapy, hopefully give pretty good parenting.
Right.
But in the end, it's like I also don't have to overthink this.
Right.
to the nth degree, you know?
Right.
And so I think that was it. That was all I can say. I'm like, why does it matter to you? Because I don't think you're paying for me. But if you'd like, that's great. Here's my account. What is the problem? I think the problem is just, you know, so many of us just want to judge and want to find some semblance of certainty to hold on to.
It's funny how people don't get what they want. They also don't. Sometimes they want what they don't get it.
Yep.
It was like a little bit questioning for me as well at the beginning that I know myself was infertile because, hey, isn't it having babies are easy? First of all, is what's my question because everybody was trying to avoid it, getting condoms and stuff like that, and it turns out it's not easy, and but it's also kind of like not fair. Some people have, you know,
Super easy.
being super easy and they want to get
Some people
rid
just
of
like pop them out.
and then get rid of it while I'm trying so hard.
Actually,
and
yeah. That's true.
it happened to everyone who's trying, right?
Yeah.
I think.
Everyone's trying.
think-
Everyone else around you are like, I just have my fourth. And you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, how is it so easy for you while I'm struggling here? There was a moment like that.
Oh, okay.
There was a moment like that. Why are you wasting it? You know, for us, it's hard. So so yeah, it was one of those days that it was hard to know that life is not fair in a way.
Yeah. And especially like, oh my God, one of the things I want to talk about here in Indonesia, people are so comfortable. Whenever it's like there's a married couple, kapan punya anak?
Yeah.
Baru keluar satu anak, kapan punya anak lagi?
Maybe
And it's like,
that's
oh my
because-
God,
Kapan
shut
mau
the f-.
bayarin tante?
Like, I feel like in 2024, it's not beyond anybody to realize that, hey, some people out there have a hard
Yeah.
time conceiving.
Yes.
And maybe you should just shut the fuck up.
Exactly.
Like,
some people will go through with it, like so. Ya, tapi kenapa? Kok belum?
Oh iya banget.
oh
coba
my
Ada yang
God.
ngejar banget.
Iya, coba
Yeah.
deh kesini.
Udah pernah kesini belum?
Kan level pertama kan nanya kenapa belum punya anak, terus kalau dia jawab,
Ya kalau
"Lo?"
if
Yeah.
you're so invested, let's
No.
invest.
No, the first level is, kok belum punya pacar? That's always the first
Yeah,
one. That's what I'm going through right
yeah.
now. Because I tell everybody I'm single. And they're like, kamu udah 27 tahun, kenapa masih belum punya pacar?
You should say,
And I'm like,
umur 27 tahun was my first marriage.
Yeah.
So, by the way, you could say, oh teman saya kawin umur 27 tante. Oh gitu. Terus cerai umur 29.
That was me. No, like
Oh, that was me.
23 and 27 actually.
Oh, aku 27, 29.
oh, you got divorced?
Yeah,
Yeah, we're
both
divorcee.
About that. Yeah.
We're
How
both divorced.
how old did you get divorced?
29.
After how many years of marriage?
Only 2.
You?
27 or 8ish, 27, 28.
My age?
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah, you're fine.
I'm fine.
So yeah.
I don't tell them you're getting married, but you might just, not get married anymore.
No, it's so fucking. I'm so sorry. It's so fucking annoying. Like, you tell people you're 27 and you're single, and people look at you like, okay, you're about to die.
Yeah.
Like,
just
what
be
the
like,
fuck?
Yeah, see,
So those people who's looking at you about to die should look at us. Then.
No,
should
I
be
We're
like-
alive.
yeah.
No, I feel like I want to tell these people, like, I feel like you should go out and like
Yeah,
see
yeah.
the world, and how 27,
Yeah.
especially these days, is such a normal age
Yes.
to not
Yeah.
be married, to be single, to not
Totally.
have kids.
Lagi kalau nanti recording gue masih boleh minum nggak?
Oh, it's fine. It's not. This isn't sponsored,
Ini udah
guys.
recording kan?
Yeah, we're
Udah
recording.
Oh anjing.
Wait, I'm so sorry to cut you off, but because you said you never wanted kids.
Yeah.
So were you and Simon not using protection?
Oh no, because I was on I was on Mirena,
What's
which is
that?
an IUD.
Oh, you're.
The best IUD.
Wait, hold on. I have an IUD. Are you copper or hormonal?
No, Mirena is hormonal.
It's hormonal. Okay, I'm on copper IUD, so like.
It's the best.
Okay, but that means you don't get your period.
Huh?
But that means you don't
I
get.
didn't. It was wonderful.
Okay, no, I can't
Oh,
do that.
okay,
I want my
sorry.
period. I want my period.
I loved not having.
All
I didn't
right.
have a period for 13 years.
All right.
Girl, don't that mess you up?
I don't care. You know? Why should I care? Like I didn't even want kids. So then I was off the IUD for a long time, and then nothing also happened, and I was like, well, maybe I'm just infertile, sweet, and then
Because actually, and I did some research obviously before this, and miscarriages can actually also happen like from the men's side, where it's like something
yeah.
with the quality of their sperm,
100%.
and then you
Oh,
lose.
the reasoning.
Yeah, the reasoning
yeah,
like
100%.
behind the
Of course, of
miscarriage. But of course, it's like a lot of people don't realize that, and people just tend to blame it all on the woman.
and also in general, it requires 2 people to make a baby. And
yep.
Statistically, it's actually quite equal between the man and the woman. But I think the problem is
patriarchy.
Well, yeah, and also just people's tendency to just want a really simple answer. To feel better.
Yeah.
They're trying to be logic in a way that it's in her body, so it's gonna be her responsibility after it's conceived. So that's just logic, they say. But actually, there's a lot of things need to be taken care of during the pregnancy, like the emotional status of the mom as well. Whatever happened, how the dad treat her mom after that.
Yeah.
That's a lot of things.
But also, I wanted to ask, because you know how in some cultures, I feel like in Hong Kong, in Cantonese culture, you have to wait a certain period of time.
To say something.
To announce to people that, hey, we're pregnant, we're expecting, because it's like, because if it's too early, you might lose the pregnancy. But so you had a miscarriage like 2 months in. When you found out that you were pregnant, did you immediately tell people?
So here's the way I saw it. One, I didn't realize I was going to get pregnant. Oops. And then, so that was a surprise. Tapi juga cara aku melihat hidup ini adalah kalau misalnya ada momen-momen di mana aku itu happy banget, aku terus terang nggak gitu mau play it safe sih. Aku nggak mau nunggu sampai beneran jadi atau enggak untuk nunjukin ke keluarga gue bahwa gue happy. I'd rather show my family, and of course, you know, my mom is a very Batak woman who told everybody immediately because she was both happy and
confused.
And it was okay for me. I'm okay taking that risk of kalau nanti gagal terus semua orang kecewa, because one, I'm also not responsible for making people satisfied with my life choices. Like, okay, you're not paying for it. And you're not taking care of anything I have in my life. But also, like, it's not, you know, I don't want to hold back on joy. Like, I just don't want to. I'd rather be upset and disappointed than hold back on joy. Because the way I see it is also, there's no guarantee past the first trimester that everything's okay. There's no guarantee once that baby is born, everything's okay for 80 years. There's no guarantee that kid stays alive past 1 year old. There's no guarantee for anything at all in this world. That for me, if I have a moment of joy, F it, I'm just gonna show it, you know? And then if people are disappointed with a moment of joy not turning out the way the story in their head says it, that's their responsibility.
I would advise your take, but on the other side, trying to play the other side around, I was like quite takut sebenarnya untuk menjelaskan itu. To tell the good news when we finally first got pregnant was basically, this is a fight. Maksudnya susah banget untuk dapetin ini. This is a battle, and then at the end, if I fail, it's gonna be hard. But if I fail plus I already announced it, it's gonna be harder. So I try to minimize the risk that part. So we announced it after the first trimester, just because what they say.
Sorry, trimester is 3 months.
Yes.
About that,
around there.
I can do math, guys.
No worries.
It's about 9 months in total.
The root of it, when you analyze it, when you psychoanalyze it, it really boils down to, I don't want people to judge me in case anything happens, and then the blame is gonna be on me, especially for women, right?
Welcome to my world.
So it's like I want to ask. So like, people knew that you were pregnant, and then you had a miscarriage, and then how did people react to? How did people react to that? How did you deal with the comments?
How did people react? Obviously, it was 100% my fault, according to lots of people. They were pretty empathetic with Simon, and biasanya nanyanya, Simon kasihan, istrinya nggak bisa hamil. People feel bad for him. And good news is my husband, very similar to me, also have a collection of very annoying remarks back.
Good.
If anyone gets personal with me, so
good one, Simon. Good one.
Right. The other, like, on the series of list of uncomfortable questions to ask surrounding miscarriage and infertility, I also I wonder, did that affect your respective relationships with your partner? Because the influencer that I mentioned, Desi Perkins, so she was my first introduction to like the world of fertility issues and how, it's not that easy to get pregnant. Like people try for like 6 years and like it doesn't happen. And then, one of the things that she said in her docu vlog is like, obviously like people don't talk about it, but how it can, even amongst partners, like a lot of people don't even talk about it with their own partners. And for years, I think, sorry, that was my phone, but I think, if I'm not mistaken, Desi, she was saying how for years, like she and her partner Steven, like they even just avoided talking about, because it was just awkward or like it just made them super depressed, and so they just like avoided it.
Well, it was hard for us at the beginning. For me, I get not used to it lah. Udah pernah mengalami ini selama 3 tahun sebelumnya. For her, it's something new.
Right.
She thought it was like that easy to to conceive, and then there was always time when we went to a restaurant once a month after she got her period, failing another trying to conceive moment. And she would cry about it, like literally routinely every month for it.
Oh, man,
and then starts to avoid weddings, starts to avoid family meetings, start to become ngurung diri and those things. It happens in a way, and in terms that ini mungkin yang klisenya man has to be strong in that part ya. Karena kalau it has to, I don't know why, but basically if I broke down as well, it will like bring us even further gitu. Karena dia yang mengalami, dia yang the conceiving is happening supposed to be happening in the body and everything, and then if I broke down as well, lucky I got experience of not conceiving for the past before, so it's we have to go through with it. So we went through a lot of things like insemination, my surgery, her surgery, alternatif juga atas saran-saran extended family ini. And we went through it, even though they don't make sense, but we went through it. And it was hard. It was hard because of judgments, because of social the pressure and everything. It was that time it was hard, and it was, I don't know if it's happening to us longer, we would survive this relationship as well. It was hard enough for 2.5, 3 years.
My mom, my brother, my sister-in-law, my husband, of course, they were all, they're always Team Gita. Thank goodness. And my mom is also very Batak and very galak to people who try to mess with me. So she was also, one of those people who just defended me in a very Batak galak way.
And we love that.
I love it. But it's other people who found out and would say, iya, masalahnya kamu terlalu ambi sih, masalahnya kamu waktu itu kerja sih, masalahnya kamu waktu itu, kalau nggak salah pernah juga dibilang karena kamu keramas. And then in the extended family world of Indonesia, it was like, Gita udah pernah nyoba nggak akupunktur, ini tukang pijet, tukang kerok, tukang semuanya. I'm like,
no, when it comes to things like these, like especially pregnancy, miscarriages, people love to offer unsolicited advice.
They really do.
That they probably don't even have experience in.
Do you realize most of them doesn't recommend medical advice?
No, they recommend tukang pijat, tukang akupunktur semuanya, and I'm like,
berdoa.
Kalau dan berdoa, of course, ada yang sampai bilang, Gita, Tuhan nggak akan mungkin loh memperbolehkan keguguran. Jadi kita sebenarnya keguguran karena ada masalahnya dengan Tuhan. And I'm like, wow, kalau gitu 1 in 5 pregnancies all have a problem with God. That's a lot of problems with God.
I don't know if people knew about you and your partner going through fertility issues.
People knew that time, and then one of the things that I remember the most is that I went to this, family events, and we didn't get pregnant yet. We haven't got pregnant yet, and then the blame came to me because probably they know me because it's my family function.
Your family,
they know me rather than knowing my wife. So it's my extended family, and then they know me, and then they said, kamu sih nggak top chair, masa kalah sama adiknya. It's suddenly a competition.
Weird.
Oh wow.
Dude, that's so weird.
Talk chair, itu tuh arti talk chair. Apa talk chair, top chair, or whatever it is.
Oh my goodness.
All right, mom. What? I'm never gonna speak to him again.
Yep. Blacklist.
There were so many people I blacklisted during that time.
Okay.
But what about people outside of your family? Because if it's your family, it's like, okay, then like they're probably more comfortable blaming you than your wife.
Well, turns out a lot of friends, it's more, lebih ngerti. daripada extended family.
It's all
extended family.
it's always
It's always extended family.
It's always the extended family for some fucking reason.
Well, I'm not saying all, but some, mostly on friends, they rather don't say. Maybe they judge silently. I don't know.
I mean, okay, but I don't want to.
Actually, that's true.
No, but I don't.
Maybe we don't know.
No, and I don't want to be Susan, and I don't want to burst your bubble. But it's like I'm not trying to like fitna your friends or whatever. But it's like in Indonesian society, the chances of that is very.
Probably, I'm okay with it because I don't know whether they're saying it. But extended family, they speak it out.
What about
my extended family said similar.
What about your wife's extended family or her family? They blamed her or they blamed you?
Her. Because they feel more
because
relatable,
you're more,
merasa kenal, jadi ini udah saudara, mungkin dia nggak akan tersinggung.
Your family and Simon's family?
I think Simon's family, because they're bule, they actually just refrain from giving commentaries. Actually,
More like friends,
They really did.
Yeah.
They were like,
they're like,
boundaries,
just
right?
Yep.
And I'm like,
wild concept here in Indonesia, by the fucking way.
Boundaries, correct. But sometimes I'll hear snippets of, well, in my time, that didn't happen. And newsflash, miscarriages have been happening since the dawn of time.
Yep.
So there's no in my time. It's more like maybe in your time you just didn't know
because people didn't talk about it. Holy shit,
because no one talked about it. Maybe. I don't know. And so that was about as wild as it got because I think they were just like, boundaries. And I'm like, correct. Boundaries. Because the amount of people who ask me, keguguran? And it'll be like, ya kayak extended family yang 3-4 times extended gitu loh. They're like, oh kenapa? I'm like, sure, I will talk about my medical history with you at a wedding.
Funny thing is that you mentioned about wedding. Wedding kan harusnya kan tempat kita pesta, senang-senang.
Right,
jadi sekarang wedding adalah yang salah satu yang ditakutin my wife untuk datang di saat pregnancy. Karena takut ditanyain.
Aduh.
Dia ada momennya seperti itu di saat I think wedding is supposed to be festive, supposed to be celebrating
like about the couple.
Like about the couple.
But she avoided it when she was pregnant or
yes, we missed a lot of weddings back then.
When she was pregnant
when she was trying to get pregnant, not yet.
Nanti ditanyain.
Aku malas gitu. Ya udah.
Make sense.
I understand. So ya udah. Kebetulan nggak deket-deket banget dan it's okay.
Okay. To be fair, I am asked all the time now at weddings. Udah bisa nggak promilnya? Udah selesai belum? And I'm like, sure, I'll just talk to you, random person, about my fertility plans. Why don't I? Like that's such a. You're right. It's a wedding thing.
It's a wedding thing. It's supposed to be happy.
At my age, I've been to enough weddings where I feel like I keep noticing a consistent theme, especially when it comes to Asian weddings, that I don't think y'all are here because y'all want to celebrate the couple getting married. I feel like this is just an excuse to like gossip. Yeah.
I'm like, gossip?
Yeah.
Do they do that on funerals as well?
Actually, kalau di Batak weddings, usually you can have some gossip sessions and sometimes a fight.
What about funeral?
Funerals as well?
Funeral?
Like ditanyain gitu?
Oh, because you said wedding.
No, funerals and weddings.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Those are big events for us.
Anjing itu durhaka banget.
Yeah, those are big events for us. Not a thing.
No, and people just like to blame. That was where I was heading with the acne thing, because back when I had really, really bad acne, for some reason it was my fault that I had acne. Like, it's just people's tendency to blame.
You know, because sadly enough, I think blaming makes you feel good that there's an enemy. It feels good, right?
Or
this happened to you because you did this. So if as long as I don't behave like you, I'll never experience what you experience.
The blaming part also goes to another party, another person, third party. Like, we need to have an enemy together against this guy or this reason. So it make you feel better about yourself.
So the first time you found out that you were infertile, in your first marriage, in your first marriage was your ex-wife? Did she also experience fertility issues, or was it?
It was mostly me.
It was mainly you.
Both marriages were mostly me.
Okay. How did you react when you found out? Because I feel like something else, like, in the realm of breaking, not necessarily breaking stigma, but breaking misconception. It's like a lot of men don't imagine that like, oh, that they could be the problem. Yeah, like they could be the problem.
Yeah.
So how did you react when you found out?
I was surprised, of course, I was shocked. And there was so much details in it, like ada glutenasi, kayak the speed of the sperm swimming, and there's also the stickiness of the sperm, and then the amount of the sperm. There was so much in it that I didn't realize it was, well, until I tried to have a baby, I didn't realize those things exist.
No.
So there was so many details that, oh my God. It was glutenasi, apa namanya, I forgot the medical terms, tapi kayaknya lengket gitu, dibilang itu satu. And I had to took this test, this sperm test, where I have to check off in a place where it's like very inappropriate. In a kasur yang ditaruh di bawah dengan I'm going very graphic about this.
No, please be as graphic as possible.
Kasur yang ada di bawah dengan I forgot the sheets. I think it was very comical. I don't know. Kayak Mickey atau apa gitu segala macam.
Oh, like satin sheets.
Yeah, the sheets, spraynya. And then there was it was a VCDs for the porns.
Yeah. No, it's wild.
It was very graphical and then comical as well. And then when I got out, and then it's so hard doing this.
Yeah.
It took me a while, and then I saw the next one coming in with his spouse. You can go in with your spouse.
Oh, yeah, of course.
I didn't know that. I was like, you wait outside, I'll do this. Back then, it was like
this was like 10 years ago, guys.
10, 12 years ago. It was like, it was like a long journey for me in doing that. And I have to like, this is on me. And I just realized from the doctors that most problems have, statistically he said that it was on women's, but when it's found on men, it's harder to cure, harder to fix.
It's harder to fix.
It takes longer to fix. Probably one of them is because men are not, nerima atau their vulnerabilities, they're in denial, most men, probably.
Right.
And that's why it's harder and it's longer to fix.
Because it's like, you have a problem, you could have avoided the problem from progressing if you had gotten help in the like earlier, but you just didn't. Okay.
So we went through a lot. We went through there is immunotherapy, which is the immunity.
Immunity.
Here's the detail: is that there is the part of my blood, those white cells of the blood, is being injected to her. That's because, according to immunotherapy, my wife rejected my sperm. The body rejected the sperm.
Oh yeah, that's an entire.
It's her immune system.
Yeah, they said that about me too.
That rejected the sperm. So I have to do the therapy, get the blood, separate the white cell and the red cell, and then put it in her body gradually to make her knowing that her body, hey, this is your husband's part of the body, so it's okay. It's not an enemy.
Don't reject me.
Don't reject me. Those things happen. So we went through insemination as well. Another process of putting halfway there inside her.
I did that.
Because both of your daughters, you have 2 daughters, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Both of your daughters are IVF babies.
No.
Oh, so which fertility treatment?
It's a very long story. I have wrote it in my blog, which has gone viral, I think like 10 years ago. Nothing contributes to it. No it's not saying that basically the immunotherapy, not saying basically the insemination. We failed the insemination once. We wanted to do the second one, but there was a cousin's wedding that we were very closed off. We want to do it. And then we went to Penang as well to do my my varicocele, to do her endoscopy. And after that, still doesn't go through. And then finally there's one part, this is probably corny, that my doctor in Penang says that, hey, don't make babies, make love.
Oh my gosh.
That's very cringe and corny, but I was like, oh fuck it, we don't want to think about it anymore. We just want to there's a wedding coming out, our cousin's wedding, very close to us, and then just let's not think about having babies. And then finally we just have sex, and it happens naturally. Probably there's a factor of everything.
Sure.
Oh yeah. Probably the effects kicked in like later.
Could be.
What I'm saying is that there is no one single procedure that will help you conceive.
Did you go through IVF?
No, I didn't.
No,
I was
okay.
about to.
What about usually
insemination?
because
IUI.
before
Yeah.
usually if you want something less invasive, you go IUI first,
Yeah.
and then if that doesn't work, which in
IVF.
Desi Perkins' case, she tried IUI, it
Yeah.
didn't work, and then she went to IVF.
Yeah.
Yeah. And IVF is really fucking expensive
And it's very invasive.
and super
Yeah.
I've had it several times.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
no,
you
her
went
side.
you went through IVF.
Yeah.
Did you do IUI first and then it failed?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, okay, so we did IUI first, but it's actually more about, after a while, I was like, hey, how old am I? Like, I was
Okay.
already 41.
Yeah.
Okay.
That I thought to myself, what's the highest possible level of trying can we do?
Okay.
And it was IVF, of
Okay.
course.
Yeah.
And I think for me at the time, I was pretty open to just trying anything because I think the whole getting pregnant and miscarriage was such a huge event in my life
Okay.
Yeah.
that until now I still I still remember it vividly. So when I decided to do IVF, I wasn't like, oh, let's try IUI several times and then if it doesn't work, we do IVF. Actually, it was just one IUI and I went, no, actually, let's just go for IVF.
Yeah.
Let's just go for as much of a trying as we can. And this is also very wild if you think about it, because remember, I wasn't someone who grew up my entire life wanting kids.
Yeah.
I'm not that person, actually.
Yeah.
But like I said, I'm in this moment right now.
Yeah.
And like for me, yeah, I think I'd be a good mom.
Yep.
I wanna
think
try.
it would be great.
Yeah.
I would love to love a kid. And that's really all there was at the time when I decided to do IVF
Yeah.
multiple times.
And how did that
None worked. Yeah, until today.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's, and actually this is one of those things, right, where people tell me, okay, statistically also on average usually it takes more than 3 tries of IVF for it to work.
How many did you do?
3.
Okay.
But also just like what he said,
Sorry.
the probability of any person being born exactly the way they are is in the billions of possibility, as in like the probability that you were born is so tiny,
Infinitesimally small.
it's so small actually that it's way of a rare occasion than people think. And so I think when people talk to me, they want me to find the solution quickly, you know, and go, udah coba ini belum? Udah lakukan ini belum? Because they really just want to say, hey, you do A, guaranteed 100% this. But if there's one thing I have come to really respect about the fertility process is that it really taught me life is not 100% anything.
Anything, yeah.
Yes,
No,
yeah.
like there
That's
is,
right.
when I say there's no guarantee in pretty much anything, I mean it. Because everybody also see like pregnancy and having a kid as sukses. Udah, sekarang hidup udah gampang, semuanya udah ini. No, when the baby comes out, that's another journey. Like that's
Different
another
sets of
thing.
problems.
That's a different set of problems.
There's always problems.
There's always problems all the time. So I know right now, like so many people like, Git, tapi udah pernah IVF while doing acupuncture nggak? Udah pernah IVF while like, and I'm
double
like,
double down doang.
now
Yeah.
I have to double down, you know, like
Yeah.
udah IVF sambil melakukan ini nggak? And I'm like, look, first of all, it's so expensive that I think if I try every variation of IVF and something, I'll probably be really broke.
Yeah.
But also, sometimes things just don't work out,
And it's okay.
and it's fine.
'Cause I was gonna ask you, like,
Like,
you know, you did 3 rounds of IVF that didn't work. Like, so how are you now? Like, where are
Like-
you with in that reconciliation process?
okay, so everyone wants me to come up with a definitive, what are you gonna do? And I don't have one. I'm not super against trying it again next year,
Okay.
but I'm also okay not trying.
Okay.
And I'm totally okay being an auntie, like childless cat lady, who just treats my niece like crazy.
Period.
I'm okay with that.
Period.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, I think, you know, this concept of like, one thing I learned as when I got pregnant and I lost a pregnancy and didn't know why I had a miscarriage is this idea that like, yeah, you don't have all the answers. You simply don't.
Yeah.
You can come up with any like logical explanation, any theory, any, you know, thesis you want, but the fact is, so many of these things when it comes to pregnancy and just fertility is also just it's that factor X, right? Which is the unknown. It's the unknown. It's not a neat equation. Like, that's just the reality of life, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, speaking about fertility, waktu mikirin untuk fertility, untuk punya anak, gue tuh nggak mikir what happens after.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
After punya anak, akhirnya berhasil. Pokoknya
it's like,
kayaknya punya anak, hamil, dan lahir adalah goal akhirnya. I was speaking for myself. I'm speaking for myself. Saat itu tuh nggak mikir. Kadang-kadang kita dibutain sama I don't care about anything. I wanna have kids. That's it. No matter how broke I will be. Pokoknya gue punya anak. Padahal after I have 2 kids now, this is a long way to go.
Yeah.
It's a long way. Parenting is much more, to me now, it's much more difficult at the end. Much more expensive.
His oldest is 9 years old, and then he has a 6-year-old.
If you're talking about IVF, if you're talking about schools, if you're talking about
that's more expensive than IVF, man.
They're getting sick. It's much more. Jadi maksudnya, for those of you trying out there, think about the journey after as well.
Yeah.
Are you really ready?
Because
You'll never be really ready, of course.
Of course.
But how ready are you?
I have a question, because isn't it a thing where, like, so after the baby is born, and it's like, what is it, like, is it infant mortality?
SIDS?
Well, no, like, is it still a thing where it's like your baby's born, but it's like you got to get through like the 1 year or
you have to get through the 1 year mark.
The 1 year mark, right? Because is it common? Is it common still for the baby to die before turning 1 year old?
They're technically soft, you know. I mean, like, very fragile.
They're like squishy.
Of course. Even if you hold their head when they're born,
it's squishy.
It's squishier than now. I mean, like,
I'm so sorry, this is so off topic, but I have a friend, his dad, when he was like before 1 year old, dropped the baby. Dropped my friend.
God.
He has a
like a spot.
I shouldn't be laughing. I should have. Oh my god, I'm so sorry.
Is your friend okay right now?
No, he's fine. He's fine. And he's my best friend, so I have permission.
Oh, okay.
I permission. I shouldn't, but I feel like I shouldn't be laughing. But if you caress his head,
there's like a flat.
It's a flat.
No, do you know that ada helmnya?
Yeah, emang ada helm.
Kecil tuh ada helm. Baby got helmet to shape the perfect
There's
size.
a baby helmet?
Yes, there is a baby helmet.
You gotta wear it most of the time. There's a baby
I'm serious.
Kau nggak pernah lihat?
No, it's a thing. It's a thing.
Is that
a thing here? I've never seen babies wearing helmets.
It's a thing everywhere.
Do they wear it only indoors, or like, they...
As much as they can, because their head is still forming.
It's still soft.
It's soft. It's the earliest possible.
I've never seen that.
No,
like... Then helmetnya is custom.
That's that's a baby helmet. It looks like a boxing.
Like it's an actual helmet.
It looks like
an actual helmet.
You know what boxers wear?
Yeah.
It looks like, oh my god, that's cute.
And it's custom.
Yeah, and it's customized to the head.
Bentuk kepalanya bayi nggak akan sempurna, and then you gotta make it.
Oh, it's custom.
It's custom.
Oh, no wonder I don't see it often here, because I know that shit gotta be expensive.
It is.
Yeah.
Not here.
Did you get that for your babies?
We didn't.
Oh, okay.
We didn't.
Okay.
But by the way, this is what he means. Like, everybody always thinks of, I have to get pregnant and have a baby, and then that's it. Like, that's the goal.
That's the final destination.
That's it, and then everything's happy.
Right.
And it's like, no. It's kind of like when people ask you, udah punya pacar, kapan kawin? Gini-gini. Everyone always assumes, kalau aku udah kawin, udah selesai.
I'll be happy.
I'm a divorcee. I am here to tell you, like,
life goes on.
Life goes on.
Right.
You get married. I mean, you get married to the right person for now.
Yeah.
But then you have to grow together.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's the question, right?
Exactly.
Can you maintain this relationship? Because your question about, like, how was your relationship during this situation? Actually, during the miscarriage, and then when we tried IUI, when we tried IVF, me and my husband, we actually got stronger.
Yeah.
But I can't tell you that that's the case for everybody.
Exactly.
Lots of people probably don't.
Maybe not me.
Yeah, but like for me, for example, I'm also already like in my 40s.
Right.
And so I don't want to, have a second divorce. So my husband and I were just super open to, like, hey, couples therapy. Hey, doing this thing.
Travel.
Hey, travel.
Right.
Hey,
date night.
Yeah. No, but we're so open to all these things because people always see certain life events as a final goal and it's done.
Right.
You got married, done.
Right.
You have a baby,
Done. That's it.
But it's not. You're not done. You're never done until you die.
Yep.
Right? And so that's the thing. I think that's why my husband and I, our relationship actually got stronger during this entire situation.
Well, you and your wife.
At that time, I don't know what's gonna happen if I gone through more than what we went through. But now doing parenting together, finding out that our kids are not perfect, our kids can be sick. This school is this much. And finding it all together, I think it's the journey. I think it's not one goal. That's it. I think life is just a series of every days. Every days is like what you're doing. You learn something, something new. That's hard.
Yeah. It kind of took me till like my mid 20s. Like by the time I turned 25, it took me like that long to realize that. I mean, shit, my mom don't got it figured out either.
No one does.
Yeah. Like I don't know, when you're kids, you look up to your parents and as like these superheroes that like have all the answers, or maybe not superheroes like in my mom's case, but it's more so like, I mean, she's my mom, like she knows what to do, and it's like she's just as fucking clueless.
She's just
as
trying
me.
to figure it out. Actually, the biggest learning I found out was my mom is just a person who had a baby. She's like a human, and she had babies. She had me and my brother, and that's it. She's not, a saint. She's not the know-it-all. She's just a person. She's just a person.
Because I guess that's what, I don't know, like one day, I feel the same way as you when it comes to like the topic of like one day if I become a parent, like I'm okay if it happens, I'm okay if it doesn't happen. But it's like, okay, I guess I'm right now leaning more towards like I do want it to happen. Like I want to find a partner. I want to find a partner, and like I want to adopt kids, and like I want to raise kids. And I guess that's like the worry that I have in the back of my mind of like one day I'm gonna become a mom, and that's all I get to be I'm just a mom.
It's you define it, right? It's you're the one who's defining it.
You can decide for that.
Oh yeah. Well, but it's like, I don't know. I guess especially I notice in Indonesian society, or just like a lot of society still in general, where it's like when you become a parent, and it's like that's all you live for, right? And it's like you don't really get to have much of an identity outside of that.
Well, actually, my mom, thanks mom, the Batak woman who's galak, she has a PhD in anthropology.
Oh, I love that.
My mom is so legit. But my mom, I remember this, she gave me a really quick life lesson when I was like 10 years old on being a mother, which is, waktu itu di SD, semua anak-anak yang lain sarapannya dibuatin sama nyokap. My breakfast was never made by my mom. It was made by me because my mom didn't want to wake up that early. So one time I went to my mom and said, Bu, bikinin sarapan dong, make me breakfast just like the other moms. And that's what I said. Can you make me breakfast like the other moms? Bikinin sarapan dong kayak ibu-ibu yang lain, Soalnya teman-temanku yang lain ibunya yang bikinin sarapan tiap pagi. So my mom woke up at my time, which at the time was like 5 in the morning, to make breakfast for me. And then day 6, she made me breakfast, sat down and went, Gita, ibu cinta banget sama kamu. I'm like, okay mom. And I was eating breakfast. Tapi ibu gak akan pernah bangun pagi lagi untuk bikinin kamu sarapan. And I went, what? And then she said, karena kamu harus belajar bahwa yang namanya ibu kamu itu punya banyak peran lain. I'm like 10. I'm a 10-year-old, right? And I'm like, huh? And at the time, maksudnya peran lain apa gitu? Gue nggak ngerti nyokap gue ngomong apa. Karena for me, she's my mom. Dan my mom bilang, ibu itu kerja juga loh di kantor. Ibu juga istri loh. Ibu juga banyak mengerjakan hal-hal lain. Jadi ibu itu nggak akan 24 jam doang melakukan segala hal hanya untuk kamu. Dan aku mau kamu ngerti itu. Biar nanti kalau kamu jadi ibu, kamu sadar bahwa perempuan itu tidak harus hanya melakukan satu hal saja. Mereka boleh melakukan satu hal kalau itu yang mereka maui, tapi kalau mereka tidak mau itu, mereka itu masih perempuan yang utuh. Mind you, I got this crazy PhD in anthropology strike down at the age of 10. I didn't know what it meant at the time, so I just started crying.
Okay.
That's a good.
But
That's a 10-year-old reaction.
Yeah, it's a 10-year-old reaction. I was like, tapi ibu sayang sama aku. And my mom's like, selalu sayang. Cuman tidak akan memberikan kamu sarapan karena kamu bisa bikin sendiri, ya.
Nah, I think that's what's amazing about motherhood. The fact that Gita remembers this event up until now. There's a lot of gimana ya. Thank God your mom is great, ya.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of mothers don't know what to do when they have a 10-year-old. Jadi maksudnya gimana saat orang tua ngasih sesuatu yang entah itu wejangan atau nggak sengaja atau salah ngomong atau ternyata niat ngomong, itu bisa diingat sama anak 9-10 tahun sampai segini. So what I'm saying is that parenting itu hal yang susah gitu sebenarnya. Yang lo harus konstan 24 jam sadar nggak sadar apa yang lo lakuin karena akan dilihat sama anak kecil. So are you ready for that when you're trying to conceive? Nah itu hal-hal yang seperti itu yang harus dipikirin. You know what I mean?
This is the sex education that people
it's
don't
like
get.
kids remember things that we don't want them to remember, please.
And they do.
I yelled at my kid once.
And she remembers it till this day?
Sampai sekarang.
The 9-year-old?
The 9-year-old when she was like 4 or 5, just because she didn't take shower up until like 9 o'clock at night, which is lame, hal kecil gitu maksud gue.
Tapi you just had
remember, that time you pointed at me, you raised your voice. Oh my goodness, can I take that moment back gitu? That's parenting, that's motherhood, that it can be tough. Karena Gita yang 10 tahun aja ingat sekarang
di umur 43
vivid details di umur 43 sekarang masih ingat.
No, I even remember what I ate for breakfast. By the way.
No, it's like it's the little things like my mom. Okay, I'm sorry, this is so depressing, but it's like my mom hit me a lot when I was like younger, right? So it's like
Sorry
because
about that.
It's fine. No, it's fine. I've done like years of therapy to get over it. But it's like because my mom beat me up a lot when I was little. So it's like the little things, like when people make sudden movements with their arms, you're like, I get scared. Yeah. And even until now, I'm 27 years old. I still have not unprogrammed that. And when I'm near my mom doesn't hit me as much anymore, especially because like she's old and I'm a lot stronger, right? But it's like, you know, when she makes sudden movements, I get scared.
That's this generational trauma. Jadi maksudnya to think about trying to conceive all the time. So also think about what happens after you conceive. Probably that.
Can I ask? Because obviously your wife finally got pregnant, gave birth. I'm at that stage in my life where like, you know, I have girlfriends that, you know, get pregnant, give birth, like all that. And there's this whole thing, there's this discourse about like when a woman just gave birth, go to the woman first. Not the baby. So often I hear anecdotes from people where, you know, when I got pregnant, when I first gave birth, and it's like I really needed comfort. I really needed comfort, but everybody was just so focused on the baby, they kind of forgot me.
Do you know what she did like 2 days or 3 days before giving birth to Ira, our first daughter? She put on eyelashes.
I love that.
Put on eyelashes, getting her hair done. Because she knows she's going to lahir normal. She knows she will look like a mess after that. And then she get prepared with that.
She get her nails done.
Got her nails done and everything.
I love that.
2 or 3 days before, and it's still perfect. We got a room. We didn't want a private room like a VVIP, but that time it was like no other option. Shit, it's an expensive baby. Okay, let's go through it. So jadi ada ruangan sendiri buat ibunya sama buat tamunya. So that's helps a lot. That if we don't want to meet people, we say we don't want to meet people yet. It all depends on her, not depends on the baby. The baby you can see from the window, baby itu ya udah lihat aja, nggak usah dipegang, silahkan.
And no offense, but it's like I don't know. I feel like most babies just look the same. It's a baby, you know. Like you can wait. You can wait.
Ya itu lucu sih kalau kita ngeliat itu. Yang mana bayinya? Iya sih. Oh iya lucu ya. Terus orang berusaha
yang mana? Oh, okay.
Terus orang berusaha basa-basi. Oh iya mirip ibunya. What the
fuck? You can't tell. That's not fucking bullshit.
Gue nggak bisa lihat deh. I didn't realize for months like nih.
Whose kid is this? I think it's my kid.
It's gorgeous, but isn't it the same?
Really? Like, gorgeous?
Yeah. Well, I think babies are nice. I still think they are cute in a way.
Okay.
Until they poop, until they scream and everything. Of course. Back to the question, she prepared for herself when she meets people, and then she's ready to say that I'm not ready to meet people now. I'm ready now.
Yay.
Also, But she prepared
Boundaries.
herself, put on eyelashes, get her hair done, and
I
everything.
love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
I
No,
I didn't understand why, but now I do after
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
let a woman have her moment. She's literally
Yeah.
about to go through something that is
Yeah.
literally going to change her.
Life-changing.
But
Yeah,
I-
like completely
like
life-changing.
actual
I
life
admit,
changing.
I thought that as well. Mau kemana sih? Ini kan mau lahiran, nanti juga berantakan dalam in my
yeah.
head. I said
Yeah,
like that, but in the end, like, ya udahlah, I'm scared of my wife, so let it be. I chose not to comment.
Right. No, but I mean, when when she gave birth to the baby, like, I don't know, did you notice at that time, like, people were focusing on the baby more than her, or it's like
Mostly people still focusing. Her friends, her really close friends,
Yeah.
are focusing on her.
Yeah.
Because babies are
There you
sometimes on the other rooms as well.
Yep. Yeah.
And you can't see the baby
Yeah.
instantly. Sometimes you have to see from outside. Sometimes it can get scary
Yep.
inside
Right.
the room.
Right.
Different timings, but mostly it's on us. With both of us. The mom gets to choose though who she wants to be in the labor room. Just remember that for people, for husbands who are wanting your wife to get to deliver a baby,
Right.
suruh dia milih gitu, mau siapa di dalam. Kalau sebelah sama gue suaminya, ya udah gue di luar.
Okay.
Kalau sebelah sama mertua lo, ya udah di luar. Kalau sebelah sama orang tua lo bahkan, ya udah di luar.
Does that happen where like with the woman sometimes is like, I don't want my husband here?
Sometimes that happens.
They can happen.
You know? It
Why?
can happen.
Like, for what
Maybe
reasons?
Malu.
Malu.
Kadang-kadang suaminya lebih. Oh, ada suami yang katanya trauma kalau ngelihat.
Yeah. Actually,
Lahiran
one of
langsung.
my
Yeah.
guy friends is like that.
Is it true? Yeah.
He got a bit traumatized.
Yeah.
Of seeing a baby, like,
Well,
Yeah,
being born
it gets-
from the other side. So
Cese-
seeing the entire thing.
Yeah.
like cesarean, or was it
No, it was
normal.
like normal.
natural?
But
Like,
he
the
Natural,
baby
was
coming
sorry.
out.
not ready. He said that.
I mean,
He's
I
like,
understand.
I was not ready.
Yeah.
And his wife was also at the time feeling all these feelings and said, get out.
Yeah, it's still big though. I mean,
Yeah.
babies are big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I read somewhere that, because obviously, like, we menstruate. Wait,
Yeah.
do you still menstruate?
Yes.
Okay. Because do you get period cramps?
Yeah.
So it's like the cramps that you feel when you're pregnant or when you're about to give birth, like the contractions, it's like 10 times more.
No, it's like 1,000.
Oh, okay.
Like, it's
Yeah.
probably 1,000.
It's, yeah, probably, but it's like monumentally
Yeah.
worse, and I get the worst period cramps ever. So that's why I'm also like, I mean, I want to raise
yeah.
kids, but I don't want to go through
Yeah.
that like
And
at all.
She chose to do it naturally. She
Yeah.
chose it. So
There's now an entire, I don't know if I want to say like it's a movement, but a lot of women now are like, I'm just gonna get a cesarean. It's easy. The technology is
It's
super
okay, it's a
advanced.
choice.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's more about, it's more about, do women have informed choices?
yeah,
That's all.
That's
Like, as in,
right, that's right.
karena gini, even when we were going through like fertility treatments, terus ditanyain mau coba IUI, mau coba IVF, it's actually about, do you even know what you're signing yourself up
Yes.
for? Gitu. A lot of people actually don't know.
They
like,
don't give that much thought
how
to it.
invasive something is.
Yeah, how
And then mereka kaget sendiri kayak, hah, aku harus disuntik tiap hari.
Yeah.
People don't realize contohnya kayak how taxing emotionally it can be.
Yeah.
And not just taxing emotionally because you have all these expectations, tapi juga taxing emotionally because you're getting pumped full of hormones.
Yes.
So
Were you on
Something's
Clomid?
changing
I
very
don't know,
much.
man. I was on so many things.
Okay.
I was on so many things that
Yeah.
it was just like, it's a combination of lots of stuff. And so many people were just not ready for it. So, for example, I know tons of women who were like, oh, I'm going to do this IVF. They say it's a pretty straightforward procedure. And you read it and you understand what it is. Step 1, day 1 suntik ini, day 2 suntik, day 3 gitu. And then scan gitu. You know what it entails, but you're not ready for how it may actually turn out. So, for example, they'll do IVF and still have a normal work day. And then learn very quickly that, hey, maybe I don't want to do a normal work day and IVF at the same
yeah.
time.
Exactly.
Some people can though, don't get me wrong, and it doesn't mean that woman is better or worse. No, it's just different people have different like reactions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And then some women is just like, okay, are you sure you even want to do
Yeah.
anything else? Should you just want to chill and relax? Like, and that's the thing. Lots of people, only know the logistics, but they don't have enough information about all the etc that can happen, and that
Right.
etc equals stress, emotional turmoil, mood swings. Also, your body can drastically change. And all of those things, so many people are just not ready for it, and they don't have enough information.
Did your wife go through any like hormonal like treatments, like disuntik or whatever?
Not well, disuntik iya, karena basically it's immunotherapy, suntikin ke dia kan, dari itu dari gue ke dia. It happens, and she did an endoscopy as well. I did a varicocele operation as well. So there were processes and changes in our body. Probably, we gone through the healthy lifestyle cycle. We do yoga, we do eat healthy food and stuff like that. I think it's a lot of process. We didn't end up with IVF, and then we didn't took that suntikan IVF. I know, but still a lot of changes that has to be bared as well, and then a lot of costs. So
a lot of costs.
Yang penting sih sebenarnya, I think it's also that the part where I think Simon is also there for you. Along the way, karena kalau satu aja menurut gue, satu aja nggak 100% into it, ya itu akan kerasa lama-kelamaan, akan susah lama-kelamaan. I think that's what trying to conceive is. It's not one person's job. It's not one person wants as well. It has to be both. Kalau enggak akan kelihatan nantinya gitu bahwa something is not right here.
But also it's not just about like the baby comes out, congratulations, because I'm sorry, the way your husband treats you when you're going through stuff, that's what you're signing your kid up for until the day like you both die, right? And so much of it is like, okay, it's not just about I just need a sperm and then we can just have a baby. It's like, if he's already checking out and he's already absent during this entire process, then you're signing your kid up for a really tough childhood, dude. And you're also signing yourself up for a motherhood that's super challenging. And so until today, I get so annoyed when I would hear like, a lot of my girlfriends or like people I know who already come from like very educated backgrounds and whatnot, and they will say stuff like, my husband is just never there for me. And then you've been hearing the same thing for years.
Like, bitch, kick his
ass.
And
you're like, you chose that. You consciously made the decision to dedicate and create a life together.
And tolerate it
with each other forever. So this is why whenever
you know what saddens me as well is that some of the DMs came to Parent Talk as well, that some of them think having a kid is a solution for their toxic relationship. You heard it, right?
All the time.
You heard it,
so
right?
They're always like,
oh
enggak Gita, karena kamu itu harus kasih anak untuk Simon biar dia terus di situ. And I'm like, if you need to bring an innocent child into this world to make your man stick with you,
justru
there's a problem.
That's a flag.
There's a problem.
That's a red flag.
That's a huge problem.
If you think that having kids is a solution for your marriage or your relationship, you made it worse.
You made it worse.
You made it,
and you made it really unfair to the kid. You made it so unfair because suddenly this innocent soul came into this world and said, "Hey, I know you're a toddler, but now you have to fix mommy and daddy."
Oh yeah, becoming the messenger.
That's the message.
Bilang to sama bapakmu. Bilang to sama ibumu.
That's the message you're giving your kid. Which is why, like, oh my gosh.
Ngangguk tuh.
Yeah, sorry, every time I hear, aduh, my gosh, you need to see this with your husband as a journey together, not you getting pregnant and your husband watching.
Oh my God, because you know what? Nothing boils my blood more than whenever I hear stories from Indonesian women, especially, where it's like the husband just doesn't do fucking anything.
Because
a lot of men, because a lot of men view it as like, okay, well, yes, I've done my part, I made her pregnant, now give me the baby. And they just,
they just watch.
And they just watch. They don't provide little to no support, to be honest.
Yeah.
They're for the most part.
And financial is not enough. Just financial is not
enough. Because a lot of men just think that their responsibility as a man is just money. That's it.
It is the responsibility, but it's not enough. For all the men out there, I mean, if you just support financially, you're missing out.
Yeah.
You're missing out
also, you're
a lot.
Just missing out.
Your kids turns out to be is one of my best teacher in life.
Right.
Yeah.
I learned so much. Kayak yang terakhir yang terjadi tuh kayak my wife told my second daughter, Shua namanya. Shua habisin makannya dong. Itu udah mau habis nih, udah jam segini. Yuk cepetan yuk gitu. Tuh kakak juga udah habis, yuk kita mau itu. Terus and the sister, the older sister, Ibu, it's not her fault. You made her. Gitu. And then, hey,
wow.
Kita diem.
Well.
Terus dia nanya lagi, why didn't you ask God then? Oke, kenapa dia nggak mau makan? I mean, dalam hati ini semua orang bisa merepresentasikannya dengan cara yang berbeda-beda, terserah. Tapi it's a calling, iya ya. Kadang-kadang kita projecting apa yang kita mau itu. It happens to me too. Di mana gue marah terus diinget terus. Oh iya, parenting is 24 hours. Di mana Nucha bilang untuk selesaikan makan. Oh iya, dia bisa projecting balik seperti itu. Jadi those things that okay. Go on, teacher. I remember that. You're missing out if you just like don't care.
Right.
Just financial, I provided you and that's it. No, you're missing out. There's so many things to learn from your kids.
But I think it's like on a different level when it's like back again to the Reddit post of like these husbands that just treat a miscarriage like it's nothing, and it's like, well, okay, we can always just try again. Like they just dismiss it. They're very dismissive of it.
Again, that brings back this idea of gendered roles, right?
Right.
Bahwa perempuan yang ibu punya anak, terus laki-laki provider secara finansial, and you're like, look, these gender roles literally just exist to create a structure, a certain power structure, which what has it done for your life really, right? And I think like what he said, it's all about like, what are you missing out?
Right.
Actually.
Right.
Like, and I'm really grateful because like my husband, when I had the miscarriage, legit was just at my beck and call. He was just there for me all the time.
24/7.
And then people were saying like, oh, wow, Git, like my husband would never do that. And I would literally go, that's a problem.
That's a fucking problem.
That's not really a thing that you want. And for all my friends who are not married yet, or like women who are not married yet, or anyone who are just haven't found a partner yet, like really think about that. Who do you want at your back when you're going through something rough? Like, you know, there are certain standards that you really need to put in your life. Because fertility is no joke, but then parenting is even more. My husband is
a stay-at-home
husband, by the way. He's a power husband. I call him my Michelle Obama.
You're Michelle Obama. Wow.
Well, because you know, I am the breadwinner.
Yeah.
And I've literally had Instagram. I've had Instagram content about this topic.
Right.
And so yes, my husband does have his own business, but I bring in like 90%.
Way more. Yeah.
Yeah, way more. Right. And actually, we've had this conversation even before we got married. So before we got married, we were talking about everything. Not just the kids part was hilarious because it was like, maybe not. And then the financial part was the one we talked about like a lot because he realized I really like working. Like it's a hobby, actually. It's something I enjoy. And he realized like he's always wanted to pursue something more entrepreneurial in which, you know, cash flow wise it's a little harder. But a lot of it is we talked a lot about how are we going to structure this and how are we going to deal with this because our situation is so different than everyone else. So, when I had a miscarriage, that got boomerang onto me because they're like, sebenarnya kalau suaminya kerja dan jadi breadwinner kan, this would never happen to you.
Oh and then, my God, that's a bitch ass fucking move.
And I was like, oh, wow, all the things I learned today. But you know what? I really realized everyone's weird Juliet or crazy things that come out of their mouth is really just a reflection of themselves and their inner issues and turmoil. And so I'm just there going, you know what? This is not a reflection of me. I'm just going to continue to live my life.
How do you wish people would have apologized to you back then, like for their inappropriate comments?
Oh yeah.
How should that?
Did you wish for people to apologize to you?
No. I mean, some of them said some really crazy stuff, such as, you know, Tuhan tidak memperbolehkan keguguran, jadi kami itu keguguran karena tidak dicintai Tuhan. Like what? Like, so that one was crazy. But for the most part, no, not really. I think I just go back to the basics of life,
Right.
which is learn to listen. Listen being super important, like as in shut the F up.
Oh yeah.
When people say really serious stuff, just learn to shut the F up. You know, if need be, have some coffee or a bottle of water and drink it and
Don't say anything.
talk,
Yup.
you know?
Yup.
And then ask this question. Do you want me to listen or do you want me to give feedback? Just ask. Because actually, some people sometimes, they're so frustrated, they are actually looking for a solution. But also realize that you probably can't give a solution because you're not a doctor.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like,
You
not
can't- you-
everybody
No.
is meant to give you a solution.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, some people are just also so frustrated. Maybe
Yeah.
they're telling you all these things that they're like, I don't know, do you know anything else? You know, like maybe. I don't know. And then just third is validate.
Yeah.
Because your feelings, look, you don't know what's going on in that person's universe.
Yeah.
Actually, I have no idea whether or not, according to me, your feelings are valid. I have no idea because I'm not in your world. In your world is just operating the way it is, right?
Right.
So I just go, well, that really sucks. I'm really sorry.
To me, I'll take it this way. Gue nggak pernah mengharapkan minta maaf sebenarnya
Yeah.
dari yang pernah ngomong itu semua. But there's kalau yang udah tajam banget, I take it as a clue that to filter out people.
Yeah.
Blacklist this person.
Blacklist this person in a
Yep.
way, not without telling them that's it. Okay, that's it. That's it. Okay, no more talking to you, no more knowing you. It's fine because our head only fits about like what 8 to 15 people, closest people, and then there's the second level, there's the third circle. If I have to think about them,
You don't need
it's just a sign that I don't have to know. We're not in the same frequency. We're
Right.
not vibing these days, kids call it. We're not vibing, and then I think ya udah bagus nih pertanda buat gue nggak main sama lo.
Right.
So I don't expect them to apologize, and
Right.
just that's it. And then I focus on what matters, which is my circle 0, circle 1, and everything in a certain level. And ya udah, it gets easier that way. See, in a way, in life as you get older, having people. Expecting people to say sorry to you, expecting people to be nice to you. We don't expect people.
Yeah.
Really. We just do things our way.
What about maybe not apologizing, but what about how you wish people would have gone about asking questions about your miscarriage or your infertility? Because I feel like, from my personal experience, I don't know. I feel like a lot of people, as long as you ask it in an appropriate way, people are willing to talk about it. People are willing to ask. I'm a very open book, but if you ask me, like, hey, why don't you have a dad? You know, like that's very
Why don't is a negativity. You ask with just how are you feeling about it?
Yeah.
That's it.
So it's like, how did you wish people would have gone about asking you about your miscarriage or infertility issues?
I wish people more that time. I wish people don't ask.
Yeah.
Mostly.
Okay.
Just don't ask.
Yeah.
What about you? Same? Because you're a very open book.
I'm
just like
pretty
me.
open actually.
Yeah.
But with people like me, then you don't need to ask. You just give me space.
Oh, and then you just naturally
I'll
talk about it.
probably naturally say it.
Yep.
If I don't naturally say it to you, then you probably should wonder why. And I'm probably not trying, you know. So for example, when I had a divorce, I remember the entire Jakarta asked me all the time, and it'll be some random while I was standing in line in a Starbucks.
It's always some random.
It's so random, and I'm like, jadi apa yang terjadi sebenarnya? And I went, who are you?
That's so. Oh
Like,
my god,
who is this?
That feels like such an interrogation. Like, please don't do that.
Yeah, but actually, like, you know, when I was going through miscarriage, like, preferably people don't say, waktu itu karena udah nyoba A, B, C, D. It's like, please don't try to interrogate what I did wrong.
Yeah.
I'm just not in the mood to figure out what I did wrong.
You're not the fertility police.
You're also not a doctor.
Yeah.
You're not a police.
True.
Let me go, you know? So if it just comes from a place of like love, actually, if it
Right.
comes from a place of, Gita, I want to know if you're healthy and you're okay. Are you okay?
Right.
Yeah,
Like,
that's it.
then I'm open.
That's it. I think you just ask open question,
Right.
not specific to what, and then lead from there. If he or she wants to talk, then talk.
Yeah.
If not, don't straight to the point at a very private, personal question.
Right,
That's
right.
it. As simple as that.
Right, right. Did you guys ever get the whole, like, have you considered adoption?
I thought of it myself without being asked.
Okay.
But I don't think everyone ever, because probably in my culture, in my family, they don't believe it.
Adoption's
I don't know. Never
not
happened before,
Okay.
probably. Very conventional.
Yep.
But I thought of it. I was okay with it. But we never really get to discuss it because it's only about 3 years to try. And we still want to try more and more.
Okay. What about you? You got that?
For sure. But with us in my family, we're actually very open about the concept. I don't know if you know this, but in Batak culture, people can actually be adopted into Batak culture.
Got it.
Yeah. So it's an actual thing. So I have family members who are technically not genetically
Related.
Batak.
Yeah.
Or even Batak, dude. Like, they're just from somewhere else.
They're
From
adopted family.
Yeah, but they're adopted and they have a Batak last name. They, are in the Batak family. So for me, this concept from my family of asking, hey, have you thought of adoption, didn't come from a judgy place or anything like that. It literally just comes as a logistic question,
Okay.
which is, well, if you really want kids, do you want to have adoption?
Right.
And to be super honest, we're still undecided. Mainly because we're also not sure, okay, do I really want, like, will I try everything and anything in my power to simply have children?
I just learned recently, because I was revisiting Desi Perkins's docu-vlog about her fertility journey. She said something really interesting. This is really interesting to me because I'm somebody that I want to adopt kids. And so she said that she really, really hated it whenever people were like, well, have you ever considered adoption? As like as like a follow-up. And so I'll be honest, up until I watched her docu-vlog, I didn't realize that would come across as like problematic. And so I guess it's like that's something that I want to explore. But also my main question right now is, I personally don't understand why some people obsess so much, if I can like crassly put it here, like why do some people obsess so much, care so much, like they put in everything into having biological children? So I guess this is more of a question, like even like for you, because you know that like infertility issues, right? Why is it such a big deal?
Maybe I can answer it this way. It's easier for me to love my kids than my wife. You get what I'm saying?
Really?
Biologically.
Yeah, because it's biologically related. With my wife, I have to work it out. Well, to me, I have to work. I have to do date nights. I have to do travel and everything. I have to work it. And then there are days that we didn't know each other before we met. Before, 20 over years of our own lives are not with each other, so we don't know for the whole life. But biological, there's a blood related, there is a genetical related. When it comes out, it's so easy to love.
Well, also your baby since day one.
Yeah, exactly. Since
like you know this person since day one.
And it could be like it could be toxic anyway, in a way that whatever he or she doing, we will
always love them no matter what.
No matter what, we love you. No matter, you're always right and everything. It could be toxic.
Yeah, it could
in a
be.
way.
Yeah, totally.
But to me, what I'm saying is that it's easier to love. For my experience, it's easier to love your biological kids.
That's interesting, because some people, I guess the devil's advocate would be that wouldn't that invalidate the validity of adoption and like the love that parents that adopt have for their adopted children?
Yeah, well, could be. Because they're better. They're better in loving someone, because it's like loving my wife. Karena
like
kan boleh dibilang gue ketemunya di saat gue udah gede, udah terbentuk menjadi suatu karakter seperti ini, dia udah terbentuk apa, and we have to get to know, we have to understand each other, we're not related and everything. Oh, so this is her weakness, this is her strength and everything.
I guess it's like, to dissect it, it's natural that some people are easy, not, I guess, could I say easier to love? It doesn't mean good. But it's just, if there's a biological component to it, it's easier to love A versus love B. But still, like, the most important thing is just that you love them. It doesn't matter, like, which one is easier. Right, I guess.
And also, I don't know, like, I think the way I see the situation is loving a person, any person, including your own kid, is constantly a journey that you probably won't figure out either perfectly, right? Like whether that child is adopted or not, you have to put effort into a person forever.
Yeah.
And I think, I think like I get what you mean when you say it's biological. Like adoption is different because, you know, you may or may not, I have no idea because I haven't experienced either. But it's all about like whether or not you're adopted or not, you have to put in effort into this person forever.
Right.
You know, and I think that's the thing, like so many people also just don't really realize until they have kids.
There's this video I saw that 10 things that you don't know until you have kids. Is that the last one, that bit says that the ability of loving someone more than yourself. Itu kayak I didn't believe that when I haven't had a kid yet, but begitu itu, oh God, this is probably true. True.
Yeah, I literally, before we shot this today, I was reflecting in the shower. Grace Tahir, I had an episode with her, and she said something that I just constantly think about, right? She's like, sometimes like, well, she said, number one, sometimes like, you know, you're the saying like, be who you are, like you just be yourself. Like sometimes you shouldn't just be yourself because life isn't just about, because the core of it is just the message of like, life isn't just about you.
No.
Like life is about service, like community. It's like sometimes the way that you are is not the best for the community. Right? And then I keep thinking about this other thing related to that. Jordan Peterson, he said something along the lines of, you don't fully, it's either he said you don't become an adult or you don't mature until you one day wake up and you realize that you love something or somebody more than you love yourself. Like that's the point of like you maturing, like give or take. And I think about that a lot. Like that's, I guess, where I'm at in life, where it's like I keep reflecting about how, you know, I think we all need love, but I don't think it has to be romantic sexual love, right? Because love can be like, you know, I'm fine with the idea. I had a single mom growing up, so I've never had a dad. I've never met my dad. And so, I'm socioeconomically, I'm very privileged. So it's like I'm open to the idea of like, why don't I just like adopt and I just become a single mom, right? But it's like that's love. I may not have romantic sexual love from a partner. I'm okay with that. I have love for my child that I adopted. Or you could have love for, I don't know, like a cause, let's say. You could have love for maybe like protecting the animals or, you know, something like that. But it's like, you know, your life can't just be about you. You can't just keep waking up every single day. And it's like, just think about yourself. And I guess that's where I and a lot of people, I'm sure listening to this, like in our in our 20s, that's where we're at, where it's like we kind of don't have anybody at the moment to live for other than just ourselves. And it can get very like lonely sometimes.
Well, I mean, it's gonna be a constant push-pull. You know? Like
exactly.
it's about, you know, ensuring you maintain yourself, whatever that is, and also answering that question multiple times throughout your life, because you are going to shift and change throughout the years. Kita kan semua punya musim-musim hidup yang berbeda nih. And just realizing, you have seasons, dude. Like you have seasons, and your preferences, your wants, your needs can change throughout the season. And also balancing that act with other people in your life that you love.
Push and pull is very true.
The push and pull.
You don't, nggak boleh juga terlalu sayang sama orang melebihi dirimu terlalu jauh.
Terlalu jauh.
You cannot do that. You have to love yourself as well in a way. But sometimes you have to learn both.
It's push and pull. It's a push and pull nantinya.
I guess it's the difference between like, so for example, like with I'll take you as an example. Like you don't, yes, you are a priority to yourself, but you're not the only priority. I guess it's like the way to put it. It's like me and A and B and C. Where it's like for some people like me, like where we're at in our stage in our life, it's like it's just me, right? But it's like no, but I reflect on that, and at the same time, it's like if this is just where I'm meant to be right now in this moment,
it's your season of life.
It's just my season.
Exactly.
And actually, it's important to go through all the seasons of life.
Black and white.
It's important to know what it feels like to really just fend for yourself at one point. It's really important to know, like, hey, there's a season of life where it's harder, and there's a season of life where it's easier. There's a season of life where I have someone. There's a season of life where I don't have someone. Like, I mean, maybe that's the whole point.
Right.
Like, maybe there's no destination.
You live, you learn.
Right.
Yeah. Like, maybe there's no destination.
Besides, I mean, like, the both of you are, like, content creators and, like, you know, personalities online. And obviously, it's like the social media, one of the best things about it is the ability to bridge dialogue and also exposure to conversations like these that are so taboo and controversial and very stigmatized that people don't have them. Like, what other ways can we normalize this type of conversation beyond just, like, you know, y'all doing podcasts on some random Chindo Girls show?
What do? I talk a lot.
Yeah.
With your friends? You talk about with your friends?
I talk about with
Same.
my friends. I talk a lot. I do podcast with Gita once.
Yeah.
I loved it.
I do podcast as well with my wife as well.
Yeah.
So there's so many things. I talk.
love them.
I talk
Right.
about
So
it.
talking with your friends, I think, is like the major one.
Yeah.
It's a major one.
Yeah.
And also check up on your friends. Check up on your friends. Yeah, I do have a group
Yeah.
of friends. We're very open to each other. But you never know, because sometimes you don't know if your friend's just not ready to talk, not ready to do stuff with you. Like, just check up on your friends and just ask open-ended questions yang tanpa ngejudging, yang tanpa nyari solusi. Just go like, hey, are you okay? I love you. I just hope you're doing okay. Yeah.
Last 3 questions, lightning round.
Oh boy.
Okay. The first one, and this is a titipan. This is a titipan from the friend that I told you about with the fertility
okay.
issues. How do you choose the right fertility specialist or clinic in Indonesia? Hey, you guys went abroad?
Enggak, aku
One
juga
of them.
Indonesia.
Oh, okay.
Indonesia juga.
Okay.
How?
Where did you guys? Is that something you're allowed to disclose? Like, where did you guys go?
I'm okay, I
I'm
guess.
okay.
I went
Okay,
to
where?
immunotherapy at RS Budi Asih yang di Tebet, kalau nggak salah Budi Jaya apa Budi Asih, I forgot. Immunotherapy. I went to varicocele operation at Samari waktu itu.
Yeah.
I don't think Samari exists anymore. Exists it still? I forgot. And then there is also alternatifnya gue lupa di daerah Cawang. And then at Lee Kuan Yew at Penang.
Yeah.
There's a hospital in
Hospital.
in Malaysia called Lee Kuan Yew.
Lee Kuan Yew. No.
Or something.
Lee Kuan
Lee
Yew.
Kuan Lee. I'll
Find
give
out.
you the name
So
later.
send it to me. Send
We'll
it to
find
me.
out.
I
Okay.
forgot.
Okay.
What about you?
Anyway.
Where did you go?
Oh,
Here.
Let me Google it up.
Di sini udah, to be honest,
Nggak
di sini udah ada beberapa. So I only have one suggestion for that.
Okay.
You must go with the doctor, and there's an and the nurses and support staff that make you comfortable. I'm dead serious. This is so important because everybody's always dokternya siapa. But I'm like, if your support staff and your nurses are super judgy, really annoying, like just, bitchy, all that, you're not gonna have a good experience. And IVF, IUI, and anything fertility is already hard.
Yeah.
Don't make it harder.
Yeah. And a good facility for taking sperms.
Oh my God. Yes.
Yeah. Where did you go?
Di sini I ended up with Jakarta Women's and Children's Center or something.
Is that the one in Dharma Wangsa?
No, bukan. ASI. Oh, ASI.
Udah pindah ke ASI.
JWCC.
Iya, udah pindah ke
JWCC.
ASI waktu itu.
Di itu kan, Prapanca.
Iya,
No?
yes. Okay.
JWCC.
Okay.
Jakarta Women Children. Yeah.
Jakarta Women's Children.
Okay.
Kalau yang
In
itu
the end, it was that.
Brawijaya Children Hospital.
That
That's a
I'm
different one.
familiar with that one.
Yeah, I went there as
I
well.
went there as
One of
well.
them.
Brawijaya.
I went to both.
Okay.
But I ended up
Brawijaya.
having my obgyn at RSPI.
Oh, I go to the.
Obgyn,
I go to the. Obviously, I'm not trying to get pregnant, but I have PCOS, so I do my thing at IVF, the IVF center at Rumah Sakit Pondok Indah.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah.
Good bacang.
No, but
I love how that's the.
But you have to be emotionally comfortable.
Bacangnya enak.
Yeah.
No, you really do.
Uh-huh.
Like, don't try to find the most expensive, the best doctor or whatever.
Yeah, of course.
Find people you're comfortable with.
Yeah. Where did you go in Malaysia?
Alpha.
Okay, second question. Are there specific support groups, communities, or resources you'd recommend for those navigating these experiences?
Resources?
Like,
Ooh.
yeah.
Iya bener sih.
No,
True.
No. Yeah, one of them is that, yeah. Resources waktu itu, gue waktu itu journey-nya sama si Andra Alodita. Yeah, dia trying to conceive at the same hospital back then. She was IVF.
I love her.
Yeah, okay. So
sorry.
we went there together one time and
I
everything.
love her.
So a friend who's been through it, yang sesuai dengan cara lo, misalnya you want IVF, you go to friends who've done IVF, you want to go insemination, you want to go people who's staying, depends on what they vibe or you know. A friend mostly, and I don't do books back then. I don't read books about fertility up until now, I think. But
I read some, but
yeah.
Okay.
Doesn't really like. So whatever it is that we're doing, I think it's not about just one factor. Kayaknya perjalanan gue, I don't know which one helps. You know, probably the last one, or probably even the first one.
Right.
So probably it's a journey that you
find
meant
out.
to go through.
yeah. Yeah,
that's what
Same
I
answer.
I was very open with my group of girlfriends.
Okay.
In fact, sampai hari ini, there are still girlfriends going through stuff, and we just talk about it like
Yup.
nobody's business. Because for me, that's like my favorite way to cope.
Right.
Just talk about it openly.
Right. No. Okay. Final question. This would not be the Indonesian show if we did not talk about governments and the role that governments can play. So I'm wondering, how can governments play a part in providing support for citizens that are going through a miscarriage or, fertility issues? Like, I'm thinking, like, I'm pulling this so from far up my ass.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, for women that are going through miscarriages, especially, like, imagine going through a miscarriage and you still have to clock into work the next day.
That's insane.
And I don't know
crazy.
I don't know, that probably happens in real life, where it's like
It
there's
does happen in real life.
Like there's no cuti keguguran
Iya
cuti
sih.
keguguran.
Harusnya ada ya.
Harusnya ada sih. But gini, from a federal perspective, sorry, I am actually a nerd. Maksudnya, like, my degrees are in political science and public administration.
And we love you for that.
So, sorry, I'm a nerd. But basically, again, 2 questions about that. Sebenarnya, satu adalah, what is the state's stance on healthcare in general? Because fertility is a healthcare question.
Would you
Hi.
put it on insurance? Would it?
Yeah, like, as in, like, are you covered for that? Are you in it? That's one. And then 2 is also, what is the state's values on gender roles, right?
Yeah.
Because that brings into question things such as, exactly like what you said.
Cuti.
Ada cuti untuk keguguran nggak?
Cuti bapaknya.
Ada cuti untuk bapaknya nggak? See, that's
Melahirkan.
another one. Kayak, why are the men getting only this little cuti setelah melahirkan, and why do the women get longer? And that will affect everything else, like the system and all the policies in place. So everybody always looks at public policy as this thing where we write this one law, bim salah bim, semuanya baik, everything's perfect. But it actually has to start at the bottom, at a fundamental level, and it's very systemic.
Yeah.
It's like, is your idea of equal treatment between mother and father, is that baked in from the start,
Like-
in that helpful, effective way?
Gue suka mikir kenapa bapaknya nggak dikasih cuti sebulan kayak di negara-negara itu.
Betul.
It's not as easy as it is.
No.
Because can we afford that?
There.
Having people not working, men not working for a month in companies, would I do that to my company? I'm thinking it's hard.
It's hard.
It's hard. Perusahaan gue yang misalnya cuman kayak belasan orang,
Betul.
kebanyakan laki-laki, terus kalau semua punya anak, sebulan nggak ada, it's
Yeah.
hard.
In what circumstance, like when they
Give birth, mereka punya anak di luar tuh bapaknya juga datang.
isn't that already baked in the law, like
Here?
dads belum ya?
Here belum.
It's only like a couple of
Ibu,
days or something.
Dan ibunya
dads.
juga kurang lama.
Ibunya juga kurang lama. But the question, actually, he made an excellent point, because people always see it as piecemeal, kayak
Yeah.
healthcare itu ini doang.
Harus ikut negara situ.
Yeah,
gitu.
general ini doang. They don't see the problem all the way down to the base level, which is what he said. Okay, secara ekonomi itu memadai atau enggak? Itu bisa apa enggak?
Yeah, harus
And
dihitung
people
dulu.
keep saying this all the time. Oh, Indonesia adalah negara kaya. Okay, and every time I hear that, I was like, how do you define rich?
Yeah.
Kaya itu apa? Enggak, kita kan ada triliunan rupiah. Hold on. Mungkin ya, kita ada banyak aset. That's true. Tapi, are we making money from these assets in an optimal way and spending it in an optimal way?
Yep.
That's the real question.
Yep.
Ya kan? Jadi it's not as simple as like, enggak, kita kan punya minyak, kita punya ini, kita semua punya nikel, bim salah bim, kita dapat semua kekayaan. It's not that simple. The question is, one, are you extracting as much value as you can from the stuff you have, which we're notoriously not really built to optimally take it out. But also, second is like, okay, now are you spending it in a way that's high impact? Right?
Right.
Ah,
Yep,
yeah.
yep.
Including
Everyone-
SDM-nya juga, assetnya is also the people.
That's exactly it.
Are we making
Your
the
biggest
most?
asset is
People.
It's
Are we
not
making the
nickel.
most,
It's not this. It's, you should be super worried. There's a concept called GDP per capita, which is GDP per manusianya itu berapa gitu.
Yeah.
And so every time we say we're a super rich country, I'm like, your GDP per capita is about $5,000. GDP per capita of, let's say, Singapore is 70,000. As in, you know, and I'm not saying like, oh, tapi Singapore gampang karena it's a small country. Yes, every country has different challenges.
True.
You know, Brazil is also very big.
Yeah.
Pakistan is also extremely big. So now the question is more, with what you have, are you optimally creating value through exactly what he said, your people being the biggest asset,
Right.
And two, how are you spending it?
Right.
That is it.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
that's the real question. So it's not as simple as saying kita niru aja Finland,
Yeah.
kita niru aja Norway. It's like
Yeah, it depends on what the value of the government. What do we want?
Right.
So
If, you know, your biggest investment is the people, then isn't that even more of an argument that,
Yes.
to provide things like cuti keguguran and like also giving like fathers, me and Panji, because Panji and I, we were talking about this because we were talking about fatherhood, and it's like literally everything starts at the home, right? Like the ability for parents to actually be present and like, you know, that contributes, everything has economic implications is what I'm trying to say.
Sure,
Yes.
but it's also very systemic.
Yeah.
It's very environmental. So the probability of your father being able to stay there is like, do you have the money to even do that?
Yes.
Like, that's a real question. That's one. And then two, it's like, okay, do they have the knowledge to do that? How would they get the knowledge? Is it suddenly some random guy in a country go, I am immediately the, you know, conscious parent who will now be there for my child all the time? Like, how do they even get to that level of knowledge?
Right.
It's next level.
Right.
It's next level.
So this
And
is
it's very
something
systemic.
So
And
this is something that should come from the government. Like there needs to be government support for this.
well, yes, and also there needs to be like government political will to create
of
a
course.
system.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
No, but create a system fundamentally speaking.
Yes.
Like, how much do you value your humans?
Right. Yeah.
How much
Please,
do you value people?
please vote for the right politicians, unless actually at the same time, like sometimes, what if all your options are trash, which is kind of like
Well,
most of the cases
Well,
here.
we're
But
valuable
yeah.
during election.
Huh?
We're valuable during election.
but that's the thing. People always say, you know, we have this concept of like, oh no, we can't do anything. Kita itu powerless. Blah blah blah. By the way, I was alive during like 98 reformasi. I was alive during that time. I was a
just born.
teenager. Yeah, I was a teenager, right? Maksudnya, like, don't assume that you're always limited and that you cannot do anything. Because one thing I've learned, and bapak gue zaman dulu juga aktivis ya, yang sudah pernah dipenjara selama 4,5 tahun oleh Pak Harto zaman dulu, like, you can do something, but exactly as before, the question is not just what can you do, but how much can you inspire others to
do as you do.
to do as you do, right? Like,
Yeah.
so to, you know, it's about, again, that tension of like, you take care of yourself and you also have to make sure you take care of others.
Very true.
Gitu
Right.
loh. It's a balance and a tension.
Right. What about? Okay, work leaves is definitely one. Insurance, I'm sure.
It's not a small amount of money.
It's not small.
Yeah.
It's not small. And
true.
like, insurance for what? For how much? To what extent?
How many kids?
How
And
many kids?
What kind of insurance? Is it IVF? Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money.
If it's IVF, it's huge.
Yeah.
So I think it's that. Like, it's very hard to wave a magic wand
Yeah.
and solve something.
Can't do that.
Yeah, of course. No, because there's also that one family ministry that was like, basically the crass way of putting it, they were like telling everybody to have as many kids as possible, and yet it's like,
Okay.
did you not do the research to figure out that that's not exactly easy for everybody?
They're basing on the number 2, right? 2
Yeah.
kids per 2 families.
Yeah.
To make the existency of human beings still there.
To be stable.
To be stable. And some
Right.
countries are already down below 2.
Right.
Yeah. But then again, if it's down below 2, the question is, what environment do you have that
Yeah.
people simply don't want to? That's a good question too.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
what are you creating in your community and your culture
Exactly.
and your environment that women literally look at it and go, I just don't want to.
True.
I'm better off not having kids right now. I don't know. Things to think about.
Things for everybody, including the government, to think about. But yeah, I feel like that's it. If there's like any closing statement you want to give, go ahead. Otherwise, where can people find you guys? Parent Talk.
Instagram, Sjahrir atau Parent Talk, easy. Gita,
I meant Gita Sis.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
it.
Yep. And that's
that's it.
Yep. And that's pretty much it. This was a lot. in this episode, but I really hope that this is, if not helpful, at the very least comforting for people listening to know that, you know, you're not the only one. Like, you're not the only one going through miscarriage or infertility. And, like, there's a lot of people out there that understand what you're going through. And their support is available. Support is available.
True.
And you'll get through it. And you will get through it. So, yeah, that's about it, you guys. All their information is down below. Be sure to like, comment, and fucking subscribe, you cunts, because I need money. So, yes. Money's important. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Bye.